Now, revolutionary greetings to you all, comrades. Once again, welcome to our Saturday unification session. And today we're going to discuss more about Pan-African solidarity. So we welcome you all, and we'll try to look at what are the best ways to come in solidarity, what needs to be done. Our brothers and sisters need our solidarity from both in the continent and outside the continent. Our Black brothers and sisters in the Caribbean need our solidarity. The brothers in Sudan need our solidarity. Those in Congo need our solidarity. Those in Haiti need in Cameroon. Those protesting in Togo, the young men and women in Kenya, and all progressive forces that are trying to challenge this oppressive regime need our solidarity. So today we're going to ask a simple question, an open conversation. How best can we come together? How best can we show solidarity to one another in order for us to totally liberate Africa and unite Africa? And therefore today's session is going to be a different session. It's an open session where each one of us will share what they think is the best way we can stand in solidarity and we can have true solidarity as Pan-Africans. This is the session we're having today, and I'll be going around to each and every member. I'll give you the maximum time you want. Speak your mind. Tell us what you think and how can we attain this, and what are the radical steps that must be done in order for us to move to where we are supposed to be. So permit me to recognize the presence of you, Brother Benny Ousi, Sister Nyagudi, Sister Njoki, Sir Windog, Sister Tapua, Elder Sam, Brother E for joining us, Brother Devine, and Engineer Blessing. Feel most welcome to those who will be joining us via our Zoom, or those who view our videos. Feel most welcome as well, and feel free to share with us your thinking. Now, the conversation starts now. What do you think can be done for us to attain our solidarity? And this solidarity is towards how to liberate Africa and how to unite Africa. Thank you very much. Now, I'll go straight, as I've said, it's an open conversation. And I'll give you the maximum time you want. So I'll go straight to starting with the elders in the room. And let me start by Brother Benny, and then I'll go to Brother Sam, then I'll come to our sisters in the room, Sister Nyagudi and Sister Tapua, then I'll move again in that order. Brother Benny? Brother Usu, can you hear me? Okay. Hey, Brother Usu can't hear me. Elder Sam?
Yes, your voice is far from me. I'm trying to see what is wrong.
Can anyone hear me, or am I still that far? Of course, I'm losing my voice, but I'm trying my best.
Okay.
So, hope you can hear me. Can you go ahead? Brother Benny?
Yes.
Can you share with us what you think about the Pan-African solidarity? How can we attain some Pan-African solidarity? What needs to be done? And how can we show that unity or that solidarity that can lead us towards the total liberation of the continent and the unification of Africa?
Thank you. I think it's something that I've been reflecting on this almost the whole day from yesterday. And then I saw something you put in the WhatsApp concerning Ghana and the sabotage that is going on there by those forces. See, and even I was chatting with one professor, Professor Kwame, as you know him, just now before I connected to the Zoom. And it all come to how, and at least we are aware of what is happening, you see, and how can we deal with it in a decisive way that we are able to also embark on our development without too much interference and that desire by the West to keep us like a backyard garden where they can just play their nasty games. You see, it all comes to the fact which we all know that without unity, uh, I mean, there is nothing that can prevent Africa being, I mean, ridden over by these forces. You see, and I keep saying that I have read about 4 to 5 books, which are written by Europeans saying that Southern Africa will become white. At the moment, they see the North Africa as white because of the Arabs who are not dark in color like us. So they see that as white. And they feel like the whites would push in and then keep with the dark skin along the equator, you see. But the only thing that I was communicating with someone and what I was trying to say is that what prevents us from actually this unity? I believe all our leaders see that there's even they should know more that we are under threat. We are under threat. But then what is preventing that agreement? You see, like a coup. I mean, just let's do it. You see, within a week, about maybe let's say 40 countries have agreed that we would, I mean, put everything, our economy and our political, I mean, controls together as a country. Even the regional blocks. You see, the question I've been asking myself is that why we can't do that? But then this afternoon, I felt like, look, I don't think the politicians can do this. I think we, the masses, we citizens, should be able to rise because what happened with Traore and this AES, the way, I mean, across the continent and even overseas, people were able to come to the streets to demonstrate support. Why we can also rise as a continent, maybe within a week, 2 weeks, consistently, that we want this, we want that. You see, something to frighten the West that, look, they are not going to take it cheap if they embark on this Gazarization they are doing in Gaza now. They want to apply that here in Africa. I don't think they will have their way free. But you see, they've been testing this with that pocket of walls they've been creating around. You see, it's all experiment they are trying to do to see how probably they will push their agenda and get us fighting among ourselves. You see, and that is why I feel that the uprising or whatever way to get us united can come from the politicians now. In fact, we will sit here maybe another 100 years, 200 years, if, with our children still talking as we are talking. You see, and the possible way is if we can mobilize. And of course, today, there are a lot of groups within countries that are yearning for this kind of unity. And if we can organize ourselves that way and network and have about a month long protests and demonstrations here and there that we want this, I believe that that is the only way that will lead us into a kind of unity which will make it difficult for these Westerners and the Jews and whatever other people to actually think that they can just come and wipe us off and take the continent and its resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ben. You are raising a very pertinent question and very pertinent observation to this. One that you don't believe the politician can help us achieve that solidarity. You're proposing that whether we can do unified protest and solidarity together. You're pointing at the action that were taken and solidarity with the Burkina Faso and the Sahel region. So those are very key issues you are raising. Let's hear what Elder Sam has to say. Elder Sam, what do you think? You've lived these centuries of solidarity, and I know maybe you can also share with us when you people came in solidarity during independence. I know many countries supported each other for independence. There was physical support, emotional support, and all those kind of support. And how can you do that today? Because in the total part of Africa, few parts are now being liberated. The rest are still where they are. You see where Kenya is moving. So, Elder Sam, please share with us what you think in regards to this.
Brothers and sisters, good evening. And I've listened to my brother very well. You know, this topic is very important. And I want us to draw our attention to the fact that we are not talking from a void. We are not talking from emptiness. I think Africa has already achieved a lot using this solidarity. If I take we in the southern region, our liberation wars were done purely through solidarity. All the liberation movements were harbored by the countries that were called the frontline states. They were supported militarily, they were supported politically, they were supported economically, basically. And the African Union itself, it's already a body that is an existence of solidarity by the African countries. So the issue here is we need to change the caliber of the people who are leading these organizations. If we manage to get people who have this mentality of the Sahel leaders in those bodies, the better. We cannot operate isolated and try to win this battle. And I agree with my brother that the youth of these countries or the youth of Africa must be our target. We who see that our current leaders are leading us or leading neo-colonial states need to continue mobilizing, and mobilization must take place on a daily basis. And as I said to Mr. Matlan, I think 2 weeks ago, I said we should start saying, I am a Traore. So in South Africa, I must start to be the Traore, and I must try and influence the youth in my small area and try to grow this movement. But we cannot, my brothers, otherwise it's going to, you know, we all remember what was called the Arab Spring. I think 4 or 5 countries in the Arab world was changed by an uprising by the people. But it faded off because then it was something that was not guided and directed. So we need to create a nucleus of leaders in all these pockets that have the same vision that we are espousing and we want to portray. But we cannot totally ignore that we want to start what people would say, create a new, what can I say now? Come up with a new form of this. It's only to radicalize the revolutionaries in our countries that can help us to achieve this. The pockets of strength, you know, I remember in the past, I'm not sure, countries like Senegal and Gambia at one stage formed what they call Senegambia. We need to push our countries to death. If you take my country in South Africa, we've got Lesotho, we've got Botswana, we've got Swaziland. Let me talk by Lesotho and Swaziland. Lesotho and Swaziland are basically countries within South Africa. And in terms of the economy, in terms of everything, majority, they depend on South Africa. So why can't revolutionaries in these countries push that we become countries that work together? And if that happens, we will start to see progress in what we are talking about. The discouraging thing here is then you find countries like Somali, which ended up having 3 Somalis in one country. Now we had Sudan. Sudan had about 3 Sudans within itself. That is discouraging, and that's something that we really need to fight against. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Sam. I think you are raising an important question that it's not that a point, it's not that we haven't shown solidarity. We have. We have stand in solidarity with one another in the past. We've come in support of one another, but still much is needed. Much is needed so that we can be able to totally bring this forth. Because I'll tell you, for example, when the Congo issue stated the crisis in Congo, Congo could accuse who? Congo accused his neighbors. That the neighbors were part of the problem they are suffering. To an extent that the president of Congo can no longer trust his brothers and sisters who should stand in solidarity with him. That division and indifferences creates what? Creates space for the West to take advantage, to come in and pretend to be our brothers. And I think Nkrumah was right when he said that we neither look east or west. We are looking forward as Africans. And we can only look forward if we are united, because none is capable. No single country in Africa can stand on its own. It needs the solidarity and unity of others. But when we don't look to the next door neighbor, we go to look for solidarity with America, solidarity with Britain, solidarity with China, solidarity with Russia. What do that tell us about ourselves? The scenario about what is going on in Ghana that I shared is very pathetic, because it's a situation whereby the Sahel have been existing for a period of time. And the countries in West Africa are finding it very hard to come in solidarity, to join, simple join and come in solidarity. And because they're not willing to do that, they're now creating space to weaken Sahel. So there's a lot we need to do. I've read in the histories before that during the struggle for African independence, the blacks in the Caribbean and the blacks in America were willing to come to Africa to fight alongside Africans. Physical Africans, soldiers, and men and women crossed over the border to help fight the independence of other countries. Ghana under Nkrumah created a center where he actually gave support to leaders who are fighting liberation and liberation movements. The support extended from money to physical support. For example, the support he gave to Patrice Lumumba, which included even men and women from Ghana to help protect Patrice Lumumba. So I think we have done this before. We have learned some lessons. What do we need to do moving forward? Sister Tapua, please come in. Sister Tapua, if you can hear me, let me know if you can come in and share your thoughts with us on this. If you're not able, permit me to call on Sir Windhoek to join us on this conversation. Sir Windhoek, every member will have their time to share what they think about our Pan-African solidarity. Sir Windhoek.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Pigeon. Greetings to all the Pan-Africanists on this Zoom today. I would want to say the following. Solidarity needs radicalism to the core. You cannot propose for a marriage to a spouse that is married already unless you want that spouse to divorce you once they are married to you. Meaning, you cannot look for solidarity from somebody who's already in solidarity with somebody else. We have to look for solidarity amongst ourselves who can trust ourselves. We have just said Kwame Nkrumah has done it, Nyerere has done it, whoever has done it, extending solidarity to fellow Africans. Yes, there was political willpower. Today, we don't have the political willpower to stand by a fellow African. We take the Gen Zs in Kenya, we beat them, we kill them because there's no political power, no political willingness to listen to their plight. And the person to whom they should be talking to is in solidarity with somebody else. He's not in solidarity with your interest. He's not in solidarity with the African interest. Bottom line is, we have to get political willpower, and that's only when we train our own leaders. Plot one in Malawi, Sister Chisomo. Plot one in Zimbabwe, Sister Tapua. Plot one in Kenya, Brother Pigeon. And only then will we extend solidarity to each other. The youth, fine. But with the youth without political willpower, we'll just beat them and kill them. Like it is happening in Kenya, like it is happening all over in Africa. Those are my 5 cents to this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Windhoek. You are taking it a notch higher. And I think it's very important because there was a political goodwill. There was. If you look at the former founding presidents of many countries in Africa, they were very close, lived together, fight together. Some train in different territories. Some ran away in whether you call, they seek refuge somewhere else in another territory. They were accommodated. Today, for example, Kizza Besigye of Uganda, who was against President Museveni, runs to Kenya for refuge as seeking a political asylum, and Kenya arrest him and take him back to Uganda. Today, there's a problem going on, for example, in Sudan, where there's a group that is funded by the East, or UOE, the Arab states, to go against the Sudanese people, and Kenya gives solidarity to them. Today's president stand in solidarity with who pays them more, or who do they answer to? And until we get the element that Elder Sam raised and Sister Sir Windhoek is also raising, the political goodwill. For example, Kenya sent soldiers to Haiti. Was it in solidarity? Or was it out of payment? And when Sudan are fighting, Kenya fund the militia group to fight in Sudan. Same Kenya saying that they are sending soldiers to Haiti for solidarity. When war going on in Congo, you go to exploit that. We have been signing online solidarity sign this petition, sign this petition. Is that enough? And how far can we take our solidarity in action beyond the spaces of what you've been doing now? Sister Tapua, please come in.
Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry I'm having my supper. Can I come in later? Sorry.
It's okay, Sister Tapua. Anybody want to come in? Let me check my list.
Would like to come in?
Sister Njoki?
Yes.
Yeah, Sister Njoki. Sorry, Sister Njoki.
Yes, thank
Permit
you.
me first of all to know, are you a Gen Z?
Yes, I'm from Kenya, and I'm part of the youth that are advocating for changing our assembly. One thing I would like to note, yes.
Anybody or at putting anybody in harm's way. I think they were just innocent questions. And it is good that members are cautioning us as to how to approach things. They are right, because we don't want anybody to be put in danger. But all I can say is, my opinion is, the questions were very innocent and they were not intended at exposing or putting anybody in harm's way. Thank you.
Can I just quick 1 minute? Yeah, so as the last speaker just mentioned, obviously it wasn't intentional. We're just highlighting the differences in the regions that we are in, the repercussions in the regions that we're in, different countries. Go to check for what have you been saying, what have you been doing, what are you up to, what are the sort of things you get into. So you find that people now are changing them. When Facebook started, we all put our real names. But now, because you put your real name, you can't then get involved in certain comments or share certain things or whatever. So it's just raise awareness to say in certain region it's not acceptable, in certain region it's not safe, in certain region it is. Thank you. Not that we're saying it was intended. Obviously, like you say, it was an innocent question, but we're now trying to explain what then happens that it's said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Permit me to just echo and reiterate and probably apologize. But my intention is, as was said by Sawindok, not to expose. But again, as you've said, some people might feel okay to say what they've done. Some might feel not okay to say what they've done. And they might have various reasons to do that. But as it is, some of us are not afraid to speak. Some of us are afraid to speak. And all those have reasons. The intentions here is to keep it a safe space. And that's why we say, anytime you feel you are unsafe to speak, don't speak. Or if you've spoken something that you feel you don't want to go to public, tell me. I've done that before. We cut off that section. So we ensure that we don't expose you. And we ensure that we don't record you or take you out. That's what we always do. So if you speak, there's some questions you can't answer or that are unsafe. Sometimes even somebody say, I can't answer that. Sometimes if that happens, you also notify us so that we don't take it out. So we cut it out because we must respect each person's where they're coming from. But you can't know where the person is coming from until they also speak from themselves. But this is also the biggest problem we are having. As we are fighting for the solidarity, the system surrounding us do not allow us to be free enough to speak out. And this is also still one means or one way of control. We have to balance our survival and balance our support. And sometimes it's a compromise of two ways. That's why even space where some of our presidents find themselves, they say, if I don't support the West, they'll take me out. So should I just sing dollar, 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 and America is the great? Or should I sing against America and I'm ready to go out? Each choice have a consequence. And sometimes not everybody or not every time is right to take up the consequence. That is the biggest thing in solidarity. Sometimes to extend a hand to somebody who has outcast to the society has a consequence. Some people might think that you are also evil like them, or you can expose yourself to criticism, but you must only take a choice and an action you are first of all comfortable to take. The best of all is to do what you can, whether in public or in silence. It's only you and the ancestors or the God knew that you did something. It doesn't have to be loud sometimes. You don't have to go out and shout, because even sometimes those who don't shout do a lot than those who shout. So apologies for those controversies or those different opinions that came in, but I think we are now well guided and well directed, and we can advance this moving forward. But you're also learning that is part of the challenges that you are facing in terms of our solidarity. Brother Ifo? Brother
Can you
Ifo,
hear me?
please come in.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Um, I think that in solidarity, we 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 cannot, in true solidarity, be decide what risks other people will take. I think you can decide what risk you're going to take. You can decide what risk on some level your family is going to, your personal families take. But I think that not everyone is in a position to speak as freely in public, and it's not. It doesn't mean that they're not in solidarity. I know that I have received lots of repercussions for the fact that I speak and I use my name, but I'm relatively privileged to be able to do that. Not everybody is. Some people have family members that if they speak out, their family members might be killed. Some people are in other parts of the world where their status, their immigration status, or they're maybe undocumented, so they need to protect their privacy. And then lastly, we need to remember that some people are at war with us, and when there's a war going on, which there has been for over 400 years, it's very important for us not to share our plan of attack with our enemies. So there's a time and a place and a strategicness that we need to also be conscious of as we move forward in the spirit of being open and transparent. But we also need to remember, as the sisters have shared with us, that this stuff is also going on YouTube. So we need to be mindful. When all of Africa is liberated, and when the platforms that we're using are actually African platforms, not platforms run by our enemies, YouTube, Zoom are run by our enemies, then we might have a different way in which we discuss. I coach football, or which they call soccer in this part of the world. And there's some of your tactics you don't want your opponent to know about. There's reason why teams get penalized if they fly a drone over another team's training area, because you need to protect your game plan for only those who are playing at certain times. But that's just and yeah, and there was comments about people being afraid to take risks, and I think we need to be mindful about that. It's yeah, because it can, I remember during the Occupy movement, for example, some people were complaining that if you were really committed to the cause, you would be out 24/7. Well, those were mostly privileged men who did not have children that they had to take care of, or people who didn't have other responsibilities. And the question that is always asked is, okay, so who's going to take care of my kids if they get arrested? Those kind of things. So we need to be conscious that people have different levels of privileges, different responsibilities that they have to their communities that may make them choose different choices but it doesn't mean that they're not committed. That being said, there's a ton of people that are definitely not committed at all, that look like us, and I'm not interested in being in solidarity with them until they are ready to be part of the solution. Because some of those people are the ones who end up arranging to have the assassination of our leaders. And I'll yield the mic at that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Ifo. Let's get to One Map Africa. Your hand was also up. Please come in and share your thoughts on this topic of Pan-African solidarity. And we really take into consideration also, Brother Ifo, what you've said. It is not, one thing I have to put straight, is not a must that we sometimes share our recordings. When it's in this area, we can choose not to do so. And that's a decision we'll have to think again, and we might take consideration not to do so. One Map Africa.
Thank you. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for this. I was just like interested in listening, and also BP, I have to stop. Yes, I think it's very important in our way of doing things that we also consider a lot of things before we can act or before we can take action. This is one thing that as Africans we are to embrace. Yes, there are very good solidarities. There are very bad solidarities. There are also very good things that we can talk about to encourage each other or to try to motivate each other. But in our way of doing things, because some things that we are doing, we are just coming in. We don't initiate, we just coming in. Somebody initiated something with some agenda hidden that we are not sure of what are the agendas. And this is what is mostly happening in our African societies or African governments or African communities. Because of that, this will lose our colleagues, will lose life, will lose other very brilliant ideas or other persons who can have moved us forward, because we just get in and they participated and wanted to be very vocal where it was not necessary to be vocal, or timing of vocal. That is what sometimes lacks within us. It's very important to know when to talk and also to know when to keep quiet. Yes, for me, personally, I will say whatever will make my friend or make my team or make my neighbors lose life, I should prevent that and sometimes not encourage that to happen. If I know that life is going to be lost, why should I lose my friend? Why should I lose my team? Why should I lose my neighbor? Because whatever I wanted to do as a team with my neighbor, with my friends, with my colleagues, if I lose them, then that is not going to be done. It's better we find a new strategy of doing things which will not make my team lost. Like here on this group, if we are all here, the number we are, then we maintain our ideas so that we don't lose anybody unnecessarily. Then we continue to share ideas. We will find we'll go a long way, rather than taking a action or taking ideas that will make us to lose 5 of our colleagues from this group or 5 or more of our team members, so that even half of us are dead. Then that is not solidarity. That is just trying to eliminate our ideas. Because the moment when we take such actions, we are eliminating our ideas. So our ideas, whether they were good or bad, they are already eliminated, because those who are left, or we will be remaining behind, we are threatened because of the death of our colleagues. We are also feel betrayed, and on one person, you feel that you have let your other colleague die. So sometimes you just abandon that idea, say, this is a bad idea, let me not do it. And then you are not going anywhere. And then you keep wondering. Somebody who wants to start it will also do the same. But if we all protect life and do whatever we want to do and be conscious that we don't want to lose any one of us unnecessarily during this solidarity or during this movement or during this war, that becomes a very, very strategically planned action. And that will change a lot of things because we will remain there as a team. We will continue to revise our ideas. We will continue to sprouse what we need, what we have, and also new ideas from the team there. And as we continue, we find we have more people joining us. As they come in, they also bring new ideas. But if we continue to make sure that we don't lose life, we remain alive, that will make things happen. And that will make change to happen. If we say we need change, then we are all out in the street to try to protest against the government. Then the government forces comes, they shoot all of us. We are all dead. There is no change that we have achieved. But if you say we need change and we protect ourselves, we are not out there to be dead. We continue to lobby for change while we are safe. That will make the change will come. And that will be definite. One day the change will come. But if we are out there and we are all dead or half of the team is dead, then there is no change which is coming. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get to Sister Shaza. Okay, let's get to Vincent.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you. Good evening.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I came late. I just saw the link on a group and I decided to join. So, however, I want
Welcome.
to. Yeah, thank you. So I don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe this is an organization of maybe an official organization or from organization. But someone we have to register to become a member. Just a coalition of fellow Africans trying to find a way forward. However, I want to pick up from the last person that spoke. Because I'm a civil rights activist, and I'm a member of an organization that has been advocating, protesting, and then trying to fight against bad governance in Nigeria. And our main focus is evolution. We actually want evolution, and we know that if Nigeria get it right, when we achieve that evolution, I believe that the rest of Africa too will key in, and we'll be able to make sure that we spread that revolution across African country to take back our country from the local colonizers that have been oppressing us. So when I came on board, I heard about the last speaker saying something about death, probably maybe if you go out to protest, and maybe the government will come out and then shoot and then. So my question is, if we say that okay, we shouldn't go out to to protest or to agitate, what other ways can we make sure that okay we get it right in Africa? Because I know that sacrifice must be made for us to get it right and to make sure that we get the Africa of our dreams. Because there's a well-known fact that most of our African leaders They are puppets of the West. So how should we get them out of there? Though I agree with the fact that we should take it, we should be conscious of our agitation. That is, if we don't have the numbers. But if we have the numbers, then I don't think there's anything we should be careful about, because it's as a result of lack of numbers, we're trying to raise the consciousness of those that are still sleeping. That is why we have not gotten the revolution that we actually want. But if we have the numbers, then we are good to go. So if we take it conscious and say that, okay, because we are afraid of death, or because we are afraid of the harm the oppressors are going to use against us, do you have any other suggestion whereby we can take back our continent, we can take back our countries from the oppressors at the top? So is there any other way, any other better way you can suggest? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Victor. You raised also another very important question. Let's get to other members to hear if anybody might respond to that as we move along. Sister Shaza, are you able to speak, or will we pass? As you said, you are free to speak, and you're also
Brother,
free to say, give you space. Sawindok?
yeah, I wanted to raise my hand, but I can't raise my hand.
Okay, please go ahead.
And it's breaking. I wonder if you can hear me.
We hear you
Yes.
loud and clear.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm a bit confused. Can somebody please help me? Of solidarity. I think I ought to have asked that question at the beginning. If somebody can help me out there, thank you.
Sawindok, are you asking about the meaning or what? Sister Tapua?
Yeah, the meaning of the word solidarity.
Okay, Sister Tapua?
Thank you. I'm going to respond to Sewenduk's question, but also do my presentation. I take solidarity to be rallying around a desire or an aspiration in common. In other words, if we find the Western world expressing solidarity with us, what they've done is they've identified a common desire or aspiration, and therefore they purport to support us. I'll give you an example. They usually say we need help with governance, we need help with stopping wars, we need help with contraception, and so on. And therefore they come out to express solidarity, and they take specific action in showing that solidarity. And the question is, why would they do that? So we get to motives of why people would then express solidarity. In the Pan-African scenario, when we're talking about solidarity, we're talking about rallying around our desire to be a liberated Africa, to be a unified Africa, and to be a developed Africa. So when we're talking about solidarity, we're talking about solidarity at a macro level, where we're talking about governance and all these other bodies that we talk about. But we also need to talk about solidarity at a micro level, at an individual level, at a community level? What is it that we ought to see if we're expressing solidarity? Because it is through these visual things that tell us that we are in solidarity. I know people have written notes, have expressed, have sent emissaries to go and express themselves, have had people joining in. I mean, I'm looking at, for example, how Cuba expressed or continues to express its solidarity with Africa, how they send people into Angola, how they send doctors, how they send nurses, and so on. So that is what we're saying. What should we, as Pan-Africanists, be doing in a tangible way to support one another? We're also talking of unity when we're talking about Pan-Africanism and Pan-Africanists acting in a united way. What this is acknowledging is that there is disunity, and we need to make sure we take concrete steps. What do we mean by unity as Pan-Africanists? I take it to mean that we are marching or acting in a coordinated way on a point of focus, an objective. I also take it to mean that if we are going to be united, it doesn't stop South Africans from being South African, because that's part of why a lot of people, some people who don't even know about Pan-Africanism, are reluctant because of the fear of one's identity, whether we agree with it or not, being relegated. It's like being in a family. If we're a family of 7, it doesn't mean the individuals within that family lose their identity for the sake of the family. No, we have individuals in the family, and we have nuisance members in the family. We have painful members. We have coordinators. We have all that. But at the end of the day, we focus on certain points. So the thing is, as Pan-Africanists, what is it that we are using to rally Pan-African organizations around? Because sometimes I think we kind of talk of liberation, unification, development, without going to the details that would interest the ordinary person in the street. Things like housing, health, things like education. If we are focusing on those, then we can rally people around and then share our ideas. For example, we have amongst us countries that are short of labor, that are short of a particular type of labor, countries that are short of a certain kind of skill. We're looking at the Sahel, and we're looking at the efforts that they're making to try and expand exponentially. But are we as individuals organizing, or as Pan-African groups organizing to get to know what the Sahel needs, so that we have people amongst us who can volunteer to say, these are people coming from this section, we're coming there for 6 weeks, for 6 months, what is it that we can help with? So it's establishing that kind of mechanism so that we have collective. Am I still audible?
Yes, we're hearing you. Thank you.
Okay, right. So that we have collective action. Because if we have collective action, it means we have coordinated action. If we're expressing solidarity, the people or the organizations that we're expressing solidarity with must feel that solidarity. Taking into our example of the Sahel states, it is up to the Sahel states, when we approach them, to tell us what they need, and we will act in only as much as what they need. And it's also saying amongst ourselves as Pan-Africanists, we must be organized in such a way that we can stretch a hand. We can start publishing things on social media that are aimed at a particular goal that we've said we're going to unite around. I've always been one person who's been focusing on or wishing that we could come up with themes around themes that we could maybe use as a rallying point for Pan-Africanists, so that when we're working on stuff, we're working on it together. We're flooding the internet and social media with information coming from different directions to try and reach the different populations that we have. So we're talking about not waiting for the majority, because I remember in the beginning of the liberation struggle in Zimbabwe, I can't remember the exact number, but it was under 10 people who encroached the country and started the armed struggle. It was a small group. It's small groups that are united that help to focus people's attention. So we can't wait to grow. We have to have a very strong base. We are representatives in this group of different countries. If we were to work on a coordinated subject, a coordinated topic that we could work on how to disseminate this information to our different populations and work on it, we would be achieving part of the solidarity and the unification that we need. So in conclusion, what I would say is, like the young sister said, the Gen Z said, it's the small. We have to start working at a micro level to impact the macro level. We're acknowledging that our leadership is not with us. Therefore, we've got to have a concerted plan, concerted effort at a village level, as it were, to say, what is it that we're doing? What is it that we're publishing on the different platforms, quarterly, seasonally, and just bombard the place? All of us together have hundreds of contacts that we can pass information to. Let's use that. That's my contribution for today. Thank you.
Thank you. You have actually brought us the main subject. And thank you for it, because it's almost also coming towards the tail end of this. But what you are raising is very important. That the way we are here, the 19 of us represent 19 different organizations, 19 different movements or groups, probably 10 or 15 different countries. If there was a framework on how we could multiply the activities we do in a coordinated common platform, it could be very, very tangible. As you're saying, for example, if 19 of us could be in the same network, and 19 of us here represent thousands of people who are behind those different organizations. If, for example, our brother from Sudan who always seek for solidarity support to what he does in Sudan, if 19 of us could take that and share it to their network to ask them to come in solidarity, that could be huge. I know our brothers here are also other people who are doing some activities. If 19 of us could be able to share that in our platform, the first gesture of solidarity is to be there for one another. Not to compete with one another, but to be there for one another. And being there doesn't mean you must have money to be there. You must be very physically able to be there. Being there sometimes means just a simple word by saying, just go on, keep moving. Just a simple word by saying, we are together. Just a simple word of even passing that information. And I think the solidarity we are seeking must start with us, the solidarity of us as Pan-Africans. If we are ready to extend and not to compete, if we are ready to stand with each other, share with each other, synergize, so that together we grow stronger. So I think that's a very important thing. But before I go to Brother Usu, Sister Ya Ashantewa hand was up, if you allow me. But Brother Sawindok first, do you now have the answer of the question? I think Sister Tapua has tried to explain.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Pigeon. I got the explanation by Sister Tapua. But as far as I'm concerned, if I accord you my solidarity, if I extend my solidarity to you, it means what I'm saying basically is here I come. We are going to die together in this, and I'm even prepared to die before you reach your objective. Just like the Cubans have done in the struggle for the liberation of Namibia, they send their soldiers to fight the enemy. Just like Tanganyika has done, they were never afraid for sanctions and these. They have extended solidarity, support in all forms for the liberation struggle of Southern Africa. I think as of today, are fear-ridden. We have got a lot of fear in us, and we just keep on saying, just go, just like you said, just go ahead, I'm behind you. But when you turn around to look, there's nobody behind you. And you'll end up walking alone in the desert, and you'll be an easy target to the enemy. We have got the numbers, we have got the base. The base is the most broad of all. We must just stand up as the base and face the enemy once and for all. If we don't have that fear, then we have to overcome the fear. Now we shouldn't do this. We must do this first. Do this small, small. Don't do it big, big. I think we are more afraid than anything. And if we are afraid, we are not prepared to sacrifice, not even to pay the ultimate price. Thank you.
Thank you, Sawindok. Sister Ya, please go ahead. Yeah, Comrade Ya Ashantewa. Oh, you kick yourself out. Okay. I'm looking for people who haven't spoken. Sister Shaza, do you have something to say? And also I'm saying Sister or Mr. Naira and Sister Nyagudi, those who haven't spoken, do you have something to say? Please unmute yourself so that you can speak.
Yeah, yeah, greetings. I don't really have much to add, but I agree with what the last speaker said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sister Nyagudi, do you have something else to say? Okay, Mr. Naira, Mr. Naira. Mr. Naira, do you have something else to say, or do you have anything you want to contribute? Okay. Joranunaki? Vincent, I see your hand is up. You want to come back, please?
Yeah. So I want to speak on, we are clamoring for a united Africa, which Africanism is all about, that Africa should find the solutions to their own problems. But Africa itself is not united. If we pick a country out of Africa, you see how they are divided. You see how we are divided by tribalism, and then if you look at if you look at inter Africa, I mean cross border, you see a lot of xenophobic, xenophobic attack and all that. Example is I will mention South Africa as an example whereby a lot of xenophobic attack are against people of other African origins. And also another example is the protests that happened in Ghana recently whereby there were protests against Nigerians. So for us to have a united Africa, how do we deal with these issues of tribalism and xenophobia? So how do we deal with this issue? Because those are the issues that keep us divided. When we are done with it, then we can be talking about Pan-Africanism. Thank you.
Can I come in, please?
Yeah, Sister Tapua, I'm going to come in, but
It's
I
all right.
wanted to follow up with Vincent a bit, if you can hear me. But I'll allow you to come in as well. Don't worry. Vincent, is Africa or Africans that are not united? Because of course, the so-called geographical location that was put some partition, which is not even present across the African continent. In fact, what they call some borders do not even exist anywhere where you see there's a temporary fence somewhere. In some places there are. So is Africa or Africans that are not united? Because that also has to be a key issue that we need to discuss. Because the countries are there and they were partitioned by the white man. But that's another thing we can discuss another time. But when we talk of Pan-African solidarity, we are talking about ourselves as a people. How do we stand in solidarity with one another? And are we ready for that solidarity? Sister Tapua, I know you want to come in. If you can come in very briefly so that I can allow a few members to come in who haven't spoken. But please go ahead, Sister Tapua.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to touch on the borders that were put for us, the borders that we've crafted an identity around. And tribalism. Europe is made up of tribes. And having lived in Scotland, I know Scottish people and the English don't get along. But when it comes to common interests, they will stand together. This is why I said when I spoke earlier that our identities should not stop us from uniting. We are members of one family. Whether we want to call ourselves Zimbabweans or whatever decision will be made, we shouldn't be afraid of the identities and the heritages that we have. This is part of our problem as people with a colonized mind, because we've been forced to think that if I think about the group that I originate from, there's something wrong. If you visit Scotland right now, they have people coming from all over the world. The McDonald's are coming from everywhere to look at their heritage, to look at what it is that the places where their forefathers came from. But it doesn't stop them from working in unison, in solidarity across the white world. So this thing about telling us that I shouldn't be this or I shouldn't be that, or if I'm going to be Pan-Africanist, Therefore, I should not be Swahili. I should be something else. I should not be whatever you want to call it. So my suggestion is, let's help people to focus on what is meaningful on the ground, food, work. Then when we get there and we're talking about the equal distribution and access, we will rally better. We will work better. Thank you.
Thank you. Sister Ya, you wanted to speak, but you dropped off. Are you willing to speak now? Then Brother Coco. Then Sister Ama hasn't also spoken. Sister Ama is here. Brother Coco. So let's start with Sister Ya. Yeah? Yeah, Asantewa. Okay. Brother Coco, go ahead. Okay. Let's go to Sister Ama. Do you want to say something? I want to clear the list first so that I ensure everybody who want to speak at least find a space to speak. Sister Ama?
Hello and good evening to everyone. You hear me?
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, I can hear you.
And firstly, thanks to everybody for contributions and stimulating discussion, which always stimulates thought. I think one of the things it would be useful for us to do on a continual basis is to reflect on, remember, and highlight the achievements throughout our history, including achievements under the banner of Pan-African unity, both on an individual level, a collective level, a micro level, a macro level, whatever we call to care it. So for instance, I'm just going to give a very, very individual kind of example. Robert Mugabe's first wife was a Ghanaian, Sally Mugabe, whom he met in Ghana when he was in Ghana. And he was in Ghana because of the support that the Ghana government at the time under Kwame Nkrumah was giving to people who were waging liberation struggles in their different countries. We need to highlight those things to our people so that they understand that Pan-African unity has happened and can continue to happen. When Ghana became independent, Kwame Nkrumah pulled George Padmore, who he met in London, an African of Trinidad origin, to come and be one of his political advisors. He pulled W.E.B. Du Bois, an African based in America, to come and write the Encyclopedia of Africana. I'm just giving those as examples. Sekou Touré in Guinea gave space and resources to Amilcar Cabral and the PAIGC in their struggle against Portuguese colonialism. So when we're talking about unity, let us remember what we have done and what we have achieved so far. Because one of the things which happens to us is this, somebody mentioned earlier on about colonial mentality and how we need to continuously, all of us, decolonize our minds, because part of our solidarity with our struggle, because I like to think of it as solidarity with our struggle and the struggles of our people, however they are and however they think at this point in time, is that decolonizing our minds and really re-educating and motivating all Africans to be part of the struggle for their liberation to benefit them. And then I think the other thing, and then I'll talk about, is there's the very big solidarity we talk about, but every day there are very low level, simple, I don't know what to call it, straightforward acts of solidarity which Africans show to fellow Africans, both on a community level, on an individual level. So again, if I go back to some of our past struggles, acts of solidarity people show was that they would house people who were hiding because they were in, I mean, South Africa is a good example in the struggle against apartheid. People would take risks by putting people up. Mandela, when he was on the run, was put up in different people's houses. Robert Mugabe, various other, I'm just naming the names that we know. Solidarity is, and this I'm highlighting this because this is an act of solidarity which lots of women give, which is ignored, is feeding people. Feeding people is an act of solidarity. So, Sister said earlier on is, let us think about, I don't even call them small things, the building blocks of solidarity, which we see every day, and we highlight and we focus on them to help minimize the acts of disunity, which there are, and the acts of not being in solidarity, which there are, but we have to emphasize all that we do that is good and progressive and moves us a step and a step and a step and a step forward towards what I call that solidarity in struggle, so that we collectively achieve the benefits for the people, the ordinary Africans, both on the continent, and this bit I will highlight, as well as those who are outside of the continent in what we call the diaspora. Because the struggle is also about every African who is in Europe, who is in the Caribbean, who is in the Americas, who is wherever they are in the world. We want all Africans to, as Amilcar Cabral said, people want a decent life for themselves. I'm paraphrasing. They're not actually really that bothered about what ideas we have in our heads. They want a decent life for themselves and their children, and that's what the struggle is about. But thanks to everybody for the contributions. And then I'll just really end on this. Let us also be mindful of, however wise any of us is, or we think we are in this group, people come into the struggle and come into understanding at different levels. And I will quote Malcolm X as an example. Malcolm X went from being Detroit Red. You know, if anyone's read his autobiography, so we should hold him up as an example of the fact that people can change from being very, very, very reactionary, as he was when he was Detroit Red, to very, very revolutionary. And part of the role of those of us who know or think we know is to facilitate every African, and I'm not talking about, so there are some who have clearly made a conscious choice that they are not for the majority of Africans, but for those who are confused and who are miseducated or whatever we want to call it, is to change them from being a Detroit Red into a Malcolm X. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sister Amma. Indeed, those were very wise words for us. We really appreciate that, Sister Amma. Let me get to Brother Seun. You haven't spoken. We are having around 16 minutes to go. Brother Seun, Mr. Naira, any of you? If none of you is willing to speak, I'll go to Sister Chisomo.
All right. Greetings, my African siblings. Actually, this is my first time joining this Zoom, and it is really a privilege where we come connect with like minds, understanding we have well-meaning thinking African, Pan-Africanists who are interested in a united Africa where things are working, and to put an end to this white supremacy, to debunk all miseducation, misinformation, and to re-educate and reorient ourselves and our siblings who have fallen victims of this miseducation. It is a pleasure and it is a nice one. I feel home joining this life. I feel home, being with my African siblings. It is really awesome. It is awesome. This is all I have to say. My name's remain Chimwanya Onwesi, and I am a proud Igbo boy, streaming from Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you, comrade. We appreciate your presence as well. Any other member who hasn't spoken, who wish to speak? Those who haven't spoken first. Any other member who haven't spoken since we started and wish to share something? Mr. Naira? Mr. Naira, go ahead.
Yeah, I greet you all, comrades. I hope you can hear me clearly, sir.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, good to be here. I only want to say, there's always a starting point in everything, and I'm happy to be among the likes minds, and I've been discussing with a friend here too. There's there is always a beginning in every struggle, and a journey of 1,000 miles start beginning with a step. We are actually in the right direction, and we'll get there. We'll get there. With you, and I think this is about the second time I'll be joining this meeting, and I've heard a lot, and I've had a very good talks. Yeah, a very good. So we are together. We are together. We're together. Now I'm actually calling. I'm here in Nigeria. I think I have one other comrade who is also from Nigeria. So we are in the right direction, and we'll surely get there. Thank you, and I appreciate.
Thank you. At this particular moment, as we go on with our conversation, is a gesture and act of solidarity. I request those who are free and willing to share in the chat what they are doing, what they are pushing in the organization, how you can join them to be part of that, what they are doing, and maybe they can share contacts or links on how you can join them. We are a study group that studies Nkrumah's philosophy for decolonization of Africa, which is consciousness. So we are a study group. But I believe in our midst we have over 20 organizations that are represented here with individuals. Some who are members of our study group, and others who are joining us from other forces. So as a gesture of that brotherhood and solidarity, feel free to share what you do and how somebody can join what you do so that together we can move forward. And let's create a link. I have our broadcast list. I'll share my contact in our broadcast list. So reach out to me anytime you have an activity, and I can be able to share it to all the networks we have from our side so that people can join you, people can work with you, and people can be part of what we do. If all of us can be part of all what we do, all of us together, then that's a huge step. So reach out to me. You'll be part of what you do, and also share what you do. My name is Pigeon, so that we can also ask more members to join you. Because it starts with us joining each other. If Brother Sam is having an activity in South Africa, it's about us joining Brother Sam's activity. If people from Zimbabwe are having support they need, it's about us reaching out in whatever form possible to be part of that struggle. The problem we experience is that we think that Kenya's problem is for Kenyans because of that boundary. South Africans' problem is for South Africans. While this boundaries found South Africans there as Africans, these boundaries found Kenyans there as your brothers and sisters. But today we want to say, no, those are the Congolese who are suffering. We don't care. No. As sometimes Malema say, anywhere you find a black person suffering anywhere, show a hand of solidarity with that person, irrespective of where they come from, their skin color, or anything else they do. We are one family, and we must truly stand together. So please feel free to share those contacts so that we can keep joining each other. The next day we come, we realize that somebody knows this person, they'll be moving together. This organization has been working with this. That is the work we have to do as Africans. So I don't know if any other person, Sister Grace, your hand was up. You didn't speak. I know you only came to comment on the issue that came in before. Sister Chisomo, did you want to speak something first? I know the hands are up, and I'll give those hands an opportunity to speak. Okay. One more, Brother Simon, if you can be brief in 2 minutes. Brother also in 2 minutes, as we almost get towards the end of this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, for me, I would want just to say, yes, as we are talking, if we are in solidarity and then join hands together and then we work together for the better of Africa. Yes, I support the idea that we Africans have been given education that sometimes divides us, because we want to talk of where I am, like me, I'm talking here, I'm Simon Shibi from Zimbabwe, I want to be Zimbabwean, but the creation of Zimbabwe was not done by African. This was done by colonialists while they were sitting in Berlin. And then we adopted it and wanted to propel it and use it to discriminate my fellow African. Then I will say, Pidgin is Kenyan, Chisomo is Malawian, because I'm now trying to use the colonial mind that separate me from my fellow brothers and my fellow sisters. This is where we have lost it sometime as Africans. And this have also propelled tribalism and racism within amongst ourselves. Yes, we know we are in different tribes, we speak different languages. That is what we are as Africans, but we are all Africans, we belong to Africa. That's why, yes, from where I'm reading is One Map Africa. This is the organization that I belong to, One Map Africa. And those who are willing to also, One Map Africa is a Pan-African organization, which want to promote unity among Africans, which also wants to promote that development in Africa should be done by Africans, not by foreigners. Because all what we have in Africa is for Africans. We believe that there is no these boundaries which were created in Berlin Conference in 1884-85. So these are now making us to hate each other and making brothers and sisters to fight. So this is why we are saying, as Pan-Africanists, as Pan-Africans, let's unite, let's work together, and let's try to do activities and programs that will attract each other, and so that we rally behind and unite. So I think this is very important. Those who wants to reach me, I've just sent my contact on the charts. And if you want to be part of the Pan-Africanist One Map Africa, please, you are free to join. You can inbox me, then we can talk much. Thank you so much. I'm Simon. They want to say I'm in Zimbabwe, but I'm Simon, I'm in Africa. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. We are having a few minutes to go. I think Sister Tapua has raised an important point, and I request her to create that WhatsApp group where all of us can get in. And the purpose of that WhatsApp group is to share what we do when activities are coming up, so that we can be part of these 20 organizations that are here, and we can be part of the activities. So I request before, if we can do that, Sister Tapua, before we end, You can create a coordination group where all of us can feel free to share what they do anytime there's an activity, so that all of us can appear to that activity, stand with each other, move this head. Let's start working together, appear for this event, appear for that event. So Sister Tapua, you can create that as we move along. We are having 5 minutes. I see Brother Benny, Brother Naira, and Brother Coco. So if you allow me, and Brother If is coming in, if all of you could take 1 minute each, but I will give Brother Coco probably 2 minutes because he hasn't spoken. Brother Benny?
Yeah. Okay. And looking at what some people have written, in fact, I can see that what I'm about to talk has already been popping in others. And the whole thing, as we talk, and that people are scared of this, our Pan-Africanism and the unity, comes to the fact that there is no any special agenda. Even if we look at the AU agenda, they've extended it to 2063. In fact, such a thing can actually be scary to ordinary people. And those of us who are at the ground level, how do we network and coordinate along a timeline set of achieving certain things? Other than that, it becomes like a pipe dream whereby we are just blowing the horn, but there's no end to anything that we are talking about for its achievement or for implementation and its achievement. You see, so I feel that we need to network and consolidate in such a way that we have timelines for achieving certain objectives from the ground level, not at the political level. As I said beginning, that side, it's just hopeless. And the issue of terminology, if people are scared by certain terms that brings about unity, some terms like borderless, it's scary for some people who have become too much used to maybe European way of things and the rest. But they forget that even Europe itself is borderless now. You see, so we can also come with new terms. Solidarity is good, so long as we can explain it or define it to suit what we want to achieve as unity, and that it becomes acceptable to ordinary people and not to be scared that, oh, their country is going to just open borders for everybody to come in. I believe that there are a number of people that may have fear for that, especially being our brothers in North Africa. So the need for definition, the need for timeline, the need for consolidation and solidarity should be worked in such a way that all these groups that are represented and anyone that is going to come and focusing on African unity and Africanism should actually work together along that line. Thank you.
Thank you. Sister Tapua, are you able to set up that link you had proposed? I'll be taking the rest of the comments. Sister Tapua?
I a little, I'm not very, I'm not very.
Okay. Let me try to work on it, Sister Tapua, so that I share it before we leave. Brother Naira, a minute. We are having 2 minutes. Probably I'll extend it to 5 minutes because we don't extend, but please take a minute.
Yeah, good day, comrades. Yeah, I think this a lot has been said on this before, and I actually still want to make emphasis on it. Is the how what are we doing now? What are the, or let me say, what are the leaders, Pan-African? What are they doing about how we are all informed about the goals of this coming together? You know, we are from different country in Africa. I think we need to start. We need to find a way to push these goals, this agenda, our main focus, so we can have this drive. We can all ruminate. We can start thinking and start finding a way because of our different region, places, and culture. So from there, I think we can always find a solution to all the problems of each country. Like I had a friend and a friend was talking about how wonderful it would be, for us to have a one united Africa and to be able to also think of I want to go to Nairobi, I want to go to what's it called now, Zimbabwe, and I can just snap, think of going without any hassle, without any, because this has been a very a limited way. It has been a limitation. It has really created a limitation for all Africans majorly. What we think, it's on a rare occasion that you think you want to go to any of African country. It is in most minds of the African youth is how to japa to like they say in my country, japa. When you japa to the foreign countries, to the white man's land. Why not in our own system, our own jurisdiction, in our own continent? Like this, I feel growth would, when we do this, growth will surely come into the to the African nations. So okay, let me submit. Let me submit by that. But please, I want the leaders to really do more on the goals and the focus, the agendas of our meetings on what we are intending to do in each of the country in our countries. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Our intention was to move solidarity into action. Sister Tapo explained a lot about the solidarity element and how we can show it. I have created a group by the name PanAfrican Coordination Group. I've shared it in the chat where we can join to show each other what we are doing, where we are doing it, so that we can start joining each other, work together. So if Sister Tapua has an event, let's join, let's work and be part of that. If Brother Sam has an event, let's go there, let's support, let's work together. So that is how we start working together. So there is not about a group of advertising who is best, who is doing what, who should join where, but how we work. We agree, all of us, that we are doing what is supposed to be done. But what you are pushing forward is how do you work together, all of us? Not that how do your thing is the best thing, so I should stop my thing, come to your thing. No, we are not in competition. We are in solidarity. Brother Coco, then Brother Ifo. I will end it there. Sister Ida, please just allow me. I know it's against our policy. Allow me to take those two ones, Sister Ida.
Thank you, comrades. I don't have much to say. A lot has already been said. What I just want to say is encourage all of you here to continue, because the journey is long. And if you want to travel far, you have to travel together. So what we are doing here is already traveling together. I know some of you are asking, why are we here? What do we want to do? Is that solidarity, is knowing that there is a fault with what we have at the AU. We as a Pan-Africanists, we have been at the back foot for since Dr. Nkrumah died. We haven't had our own government. We haven't had people who hear what we are asking for. So hence why we have to come together and build. It's a war, ladies and gentlemen. We have to act as if we are at war. And it's serious, because the imperialists have planted amongst us seeds of division. And we need to deal with ourselves first. We need to decolonize. We need to remember who we are first, if we are to reach the goals that we want to reach. We can set the goals, whatever goals we want to set, but if we are using the wrong instruments, the wrong tools, they won't happen. So again, let me encourage all of you, in your little organizations or big organizations or medium organizations, let us continue fighting. for Pan-African unity. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Coco. Brother Ifo, you'll be the last and I'm taking. Brother Ifo?
Yes, revolutionary greetings. So just briefly, I am Isoko from the Niger Delta, the place that they decide to call Nigeria without asking us. I will be, and I'm sure the revolutionaries will be hosting an event on the 23rd to commemorate the ancestors that did not make it through the water during the times of slave trade, and also those who did not make it through the desert, through the Arab slave trade. So it's an annual event we've been doing now for over 11 years called African Holocaust Remembrance Day. I will get the details out to you folks if you're interested in attending. And I'm also actively organizing because my plan is to do what they call reverse Japa. So I'm going back home. I'm done with Canada. So I'll be looking forward to connecting with those people who are on the ground so that we can actually move the consciousness of people on the ground to a level where we can see each other as family. So I will yield the mic at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Ifo. Thank you all for your time. Please, we have created the WhatsApp group. Join there. Feel free to share a link for your meetings that are coming up. Feel free to join those meetings when you have time. Let's stand with each other. It will be very good for Brother Ifo to see all of us attending what he's talking about. It will be very good for Sister Nyagudi to see all of us coming for them. Those little steps, the baby steps, are the cornerstone for our solidarity. So let's join the group. Let's feel free to share what we do, and let's do solidarity in action. Let's be there for each other in action. In whatever means you can, let's come out. In whatever organization you have, let's join each other. There's no big organization. There's no small organization. There's no superior person. There's no inferior person. We are all out to hold each other's hand so that together we can walk and together we can stand to help liberate and unify and develop the Africa we want. So I want to say sorry and apologies for any contradiction that came in between. And to anybody who felt unsafe, feel free to understand and accept my apologies. If you have any concern that we should do away with your comment on this session, reach out to me so that I can trim it out. And if you feel any level of unsafe or any concern, feel free to reach out to me. We will always take your security as the first and most important to us. But all of us, let's overcome the fear, but let's also survive to fight. Because also the survival for fighting is also much as the fight is also. So Sister Ida, please close this for us. I'm sorry, Sister Ida, for taking long, but please close it for us.
Sorry about that. Hello. I thank you all for having come tonight. I thank you all for all you've had to say because it's been interesting. And I'm sure we will continue to talk about solidarity and how that will enable Africa to gain its total unity and freedom. So I say good night to you all and thank you. Sorry we're a bit later than normal. Good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.